Ever bomber war was already being rendered obsolete by jet engine aircraft, rocket-powered missiles, and atomic bombs. In the thin, freezing air over northwestern Europe, airmen bled and died in an environment that no warriors had ever experienced. It was air war fought not at 12,000 feet, as in World War I, but at altitudes 2 and 3 times that, up near the stratosphere, where the elements were even more dangerous than the enemy. In this brilliantly blue battlefield, the cold killed, the air was unbreathable, and the sun exposed bombers to swift violence from German fighter planes and ground guns. This endless, unfamiliar killing space added a new dimension to the ordeal of combat, causing many emotional and physical problems that fighting men experienced for the first time ever. For most airmen, flying was as strange as fighting. Before enlisting, thousands of American flyers had never set foot in an airplane or fired a shot at anything more threatening than a squirrel. A new type of warfare, it gave birth to a new type of medicine, air medicine. Its pioneering psychiatrists and surgeons worked in hospitals and clinics not far from the bomber bases, places where men were sent when frostbite mauled their faces and fingers, or when trauma and terror brought them down. Bomber warfare was intermittent warfare. Bouts of inactivity and boredom were followed by short bursts of fury and fear, and men returned from sky fights to clean sheets, hot food, and adoring English girls. In this incredible war, a boy of 19 or 20 could be fighting for his life over Berlin at 11 o'clock in the morning and be at a London hotel with the date of his dreams at 9 that evening. Some infantrymen envied the airmen's comforts, but as a character in an American navigator's novel asks, how many infantry guys do you think would be heading for the front lines if you gave them a plane with full gas tanks? Sold to the American public as a quicker, more decisive way of winning than slogging it out on the ground, the air war became a slow, brutal battle of attrition. John Egan was commander of a squadron of B-17 Flying Fortresses, one of the most fearsome killing machines in the world at that time. He was a bomber boy. Destruction was his occupation. And like most other bomber crewmen, he went about his work without a quiver of conscience, convinced he was fighting for a noble cause. He also killed in order not to be killed. Egan had been flying combat missions for 5 months in the most dangerous air theater of the war, the big leagues, the men called it, and this was his first extended leave from the fight, although it hardly felt like a reprieve. That night, the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, plastered the city, setting off fires all around his hotel. It was his first time under the bombs, and he found it impossible to sleep with the screaming sirens and the thundering concussions. Egan was attached to the 8th Air Force, a bomber command formed at Savannah Army Air Base in Georgia in the month after Pearl Harbor to deliver America's first blow against the Nazi homeland. From its unpromising beginnings, it was fast becoming one of the greatest striking forces in history. Egan had arrived in England in the spring of 1943, a year after the first men and machines of the 8th had begun occupying bases handed over to them by the RAF, the Royal Air Force, whose bombers had been hammering German cities since 1940. Each numbered bombardment group, BG, his was the 100th, was made up of 4 squadrons of 8 to 12 4-engine bombers, called heavies, and occupied its own air station, either in East Anglia or the Midlands, directly north of London, around the town of Bedford. The flyers commonly referred to their bombardment group as their bomb group, the term I have used throughout the text. For a time in 1943, the 8th was assigned 4 bomb groups equipped with twin-engine B-26 Marauders, which were used primarily for low and medium-level bombing, with mixed results. But in October of that year, these small Marauder units were transferred to another British-based American Air Command, the 9th Air Force, which was being built up to provide close air support for the cross-channel invasion of Nazi-occupied Europe. From this point until the end of the war, all 8th Air Force bombers were either Fortresses or B-24 Liberators, the only American bombers designed for long-range, high-altitude strikes. But the 8th did retain its